Kakadosh Boker Tov, Yeshut Rav Mansur Shlita. We're just going to do again a recap of all the halachot that have pertained to today. This morning we already started off by not saying Mizmor LeTodah. The reason why we don't say Mizmor LeTodah on Erev Pesach, neither on Chol HaMoed Pesach, is since we remember that the Todah had 40 different types of loaves, 4 groups of 10, and 3 of them were actually of matzah, but one of them of the group of 10 was chametz. So therefore they did not bring the Korban Todah Erev Pesach or during Chol HaMoed Pesach because it contained chametz. And therefore our minhag, and also the minhag of Tunisia and Algeria and other places as well, is that we do not say Mizmor LeTodah on Erev Pesach or throughout Pesach. Accordingly, that's also the minhag of the Ashkenazim, as is brought down in the Ramah. The next one after the Mizmor LeTodah was to do the Shalosh Regalim this morning. We remember that the minhag, this was of Morocco, Tunisia, and even of Baghdad. Because if you remember, the Ben Ish Chai even brings down that his minhag is that whenever there was a special occasion, they do not say Shish Shel Hayom, they say the common, whatever it pertains to the day. The Ben Ish Chai did change that minhag, and then he went to the Alpia Kabbalah and the Dot Mizrach that they actually do say the regular Shish Shel Hayom, but the original minhag of all these places is that you actually say a special Shish Shel Hayom, which means not the day of the week. So this morning we do not say Wednesday, we said the minhag of Erev Pesach, which that is what we just did this morning. We're going to be doing right after Shachrit, Ta'anit Bechorot. Remember that the Bechors have an obligation to fast unless they listen to a Siyum. So they listen to the Siyum Masechet, and then they have to partake from the food of the Siyum. You have to eat the kezait of the food, and that's why we prepared already different bags in order to take them out. Remember that the Bet Knesset is Kasher Pesach, so you take it out and you're going to partake from the Siyum. Once you partake from the Siyum, so now you are exempt from fasting for the rest of the day because you listen to a Siyum Masechet. So pay attention to the Siyum Masechet, and then you take your food, and then you go and you eat it, and then you're able to eat for the rest of the day. That is to do with the Ta'anit Bechorot. Afterwards, you have to stop eating chametz by 10:54 a.m., and you have to burn the chametz by 12:08 p.m. The burning station is going to be the Atzala already organized by the Shul Bal Harbor. So you have there from 9 until I think it's 9 until 1, I think it is. So you have until to burning of the chametz. You say the Kal Chamira. Remember that the minhag is that when you're burning the chametz, you take the 10 pieces of bread that you had last night, and you're going to burn that along with the wicks of the Chanukiah and along with the lulav, right, with the lulav and the arava and the adas. That they throw the minhag is to throw it also in the fire. You throw this in the fire at the same time, and you say Kal Chamira. Remember that once you do the Kal Chamira, that's it. You're done with the chametz. Anyway, you're not allowed to eat chametz beforehand, but just be very, very careful. And now here you're going to make a difference that the Kal Chamira between last night and this morning. The Kal Chamira of last night was you're only annulling the chametz which you do not see. Right, not the chametz that you did see, because obviously if you annulled it, then you can't burn it this morning. And if you already made everything hefker last night, if you made it ownerless, so then you can't burn it this morning. But rather this morning, now you're going to say the chazite udla chazite. You're going to add in whether you did see it or you didn't see it, and make sure that when you're doing the biur chametz, you actually understand what you're saying. We say it 3 times like a chazakah, but you must understand what you're saying. If you say it in a language which you do not understand, which it is actually in Aramaic, right? But you have to say whether it's going to be in Hebrew, English, French, Spanish, whichever one that you want, but you must understand what you are saying in order to annul the chametz. Then after that, we have a very important halakha of eruv tavshilin. Remember that what you do is you take an egg and you take a matzah, you're going to make the bracha on the eruv, and by making this bracha on the eruv, you're going to be permitted to prepare from Yom Tov to Shabbat. And therefore this coming Friday, which is Erev Shabbat, even though it's Yom Tov Sheni, you're going to be able to be preparing from Yom Tov to Shabbat. So that's going to be very important that you must prepare Eruv Tavshilin. There's a special prayer, you could find it in the Machzorim if you forget to do it, so then technically you can rely upon me, but please do not forget to do the Eruv Tavshilin. That will be this afternoon. The last important one is obviously that there's the mikveh to purify ourselves before the regel. There are a lot of people that they also do mincha gedolah. And then afterwards they read the Korban Pesach. If you remember, we brought down the Chidush that after the reading the Korban Pesach, you read Akedat Yitzchak. And we made the connection between Akedat Yitzchak and the Korban Pesach. We sent out the Korban Pesach and also the letter of the Rav Shimshon Astropoli, which the letter of Rav Shimshon Astropoli explaining the 10 Makot and explaining how everything connects, right? Whether it's with the names This is all a Arizal HaKadosh, where the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the names of Malachim, and all these things, this is all going to, that could be read, the letter could be read all day. We sent it out in English and in Hebrew in order to understand, but the Korban Pesach is done specifically after Chatzot, after Mincha Gedolah. So usually after Mincha Gedolah, if you already prayed Mincha Gedolah, or even if you didn't, you come and you say the Korban Pesach and then Akedat Yitzchak, as we already brought down. Tonight, again, B'ezrat Hashem, we have the candle lighting at 7:21. The Hallel is a full Hallel at nighttime. Remember that when you're going to make the Hallel today in the Bet Knesset, we read it. We do not sing it. The reason why we only read it and not sing it is because you have to start immediately the Seder. And therefore what we do is we only read the full Hallel. We do not sing the full Hallel. So we read the full Hallel, we do not sing it, and then afterwards you have to have in mind when you're saying the bracha of the Hallel, that bracha is going to be the bracha for the Seder. Remember, during the Seder we split up the Hallel in two. The first two paragraphs we do it at the end of Magid, the rest we do it in Hallel, but we do not make a bracha. So the bracha that we're doing in the Bet Knesset is going to be the bracha for the Hallel later on. So we have that in mind when we're making the bracha in the Bet Knesset, that's our bracha for later on. And then also just to remember the last two things to do with the remembering of the different berachot in the Seder, when you're making Kiddush, you're having in mind the first cup and also the cup of Kiddush. And when you say Borei Peri Gefen, you have in mind the first cup and the second cup. The third cup, you already make a new bracha, but it's after Birkat Hamazon, and you're having in mind the third cup and the fourth cup. And then when you're doing the Borei Peri Adama, you're having in mind Borei Peri Adama on the celery, and also which is a karpas, and also on the maror, which is going to be later on the lettuce. And then also when you're making ala chilat matzah, you're having in mind the bracha of ala chilat matzah for the motzi matzah and also for the fikomen. So those are just things that you have to remember throughout the night. We already mentioned that you finish tonight before chatzot. Lechatechila, you have to finish before chatzot is going to be the 122. So you should try to finish even the Hallel before 122, not only the Fikomen, if not minimum the Fikomen, that you finish before 122 a.m. And then again, everything else is going to be normal of the Chag. We obviously have to say the Yom Tov Tefillot, as we already mentioned.